everybody? Just making a quick video to give you guys a little bit of a rundown. So this is the moderator lounge, and yesterday I posted at 11:04 that these were two trades that I took, and I did also mention at 11:05 that the high of the day should form during the London close today, which ends in about an hour. So what ended up happening was high of the day formed literally 5 minutes after I posted this in the that was on Bitcoin. But this video I'm gonna talk a little bit about my rationale behind entering into these two trades, and honestly it was just first question that I have to answer is no, I did not specifically pick CRV. It just happened to be the coin that I was looking at the time, and I was like, hey, this coin looks pretty decent, so I got in. So on the first entry is during a London, so this is during, if I'm not mistaken, this is London 7, so 9 a.m. London. This is sort of like the London kill zone from ICT, and I just saw that you broke structure to the upside here. So this happened during the London kill zone, so immediately I just drew a fib from that swing low to that swing high, and I looked for the optimal trade entry. So usually that is the 0.705, but just to optimize that a little bit more, I did see an order block over here. So that was my entry with my stop there. Now my target was the previous swing high, which in hindsight, I could have used the negative Fibonacci's to give me like better TPs, because obviously, this really took off. So in hindsight, I shouldn't have taken everything here, and I should have taken more at the minus 0.5, which would have gave me about 4.5 risk to reward ratio. But this is what ended up happening. And the second trade that I took happened during the New York kill zone. So ideally, because you got a breaker structure, like similarly, usually when London decides to go up, then the New York session tends to want to continue as well. It's just a very general rule of thumb. It is by no means sort of black and white, and if I say so, it has to happen. For example, it doesn't have to work that way. So the second entry, which I missed actually because I was not at the PC, is over here on this order block here. When you break structure during the New York kill zone, and then you come back down to fill in imbalance, then that's your entry. You could argue that you had a chance here when it came back down into this point here, but I missed this one, so we're not going to talk about it. So the last one is going to be the London close. So usually, I'm going to speak from the perspective of Bitcoin because altcoins tend to just do fuck all. So from the perspective of Bitcoin, the high or low of the day tends to come during the London close, usually, most of the time speaking. So for example, if I go over to Bitcoin right now, you can see that the high of the day did come at right here during the London close was yesterday. Let me go back to the 5 minute. So London close was yesterday, and this was when I mentioned it, that the high of the day would form, and right there, the high of the day formed at 11:10, which is the London session, and it just so happened to form here on this zone of supply right here. So this is the importance of having like a higher time frame. You always want to have a higher time frame in order to just understand where are the areas of value that you might want to take some profit or whatever, or like, look for a short or whatever, just stuff like that. And secondly, and this is currently a trade that I'm taking at the moment. So I opened a long over here. Similarly, during the London kill zone, I noticed that there was a breaker structure to the upside. And so I noticed that there was imbalance here, right? There was imbalance here. So I waited until price came back into a sort of like an order block. And then just as we continued onwards, I was just like, I really wanted to short this because my knowledge is that, hey, today's Wednesday and probably a mid-week reversal. But I was like, but you got like a break structure to the upside. And so I was like, yeah, let's just go long. And my target, I didn't make the same mistake from yesterday, which is to target the previous swing high, although that would have been a good idea. So I'll give you my rationale behind why my target is the previous week's high. So if I just draw a fib from that low to that high, which is where I sort of base the entry from, if you scroll up to the -2 Fibonacci, so just so I don't make the same mistake as yesterday, I'm giving a higher target. So I'll give you the reason why I think that this target is the one that I'm using. So notice how you have relatively equal highs over there. This is on the 1 hourly, so this will be much clearer on a 15-minute time frame. So right there, and just so happens to be the previous week's high. So it's multiple confluence factors, and I will definitely consider taking some at the previous day's high. So that's going to be TP1 for me, and I'm just going to let the rest ride. 6.4 risk to reward ratio, even though it's just 1% gain, but depending on how much you risk on your account, for someone risking $1,000 per hour value, this is $6,400 right here. So my target is the previous week's high. Do I think that is likely? I just go onto the daily chart to see if that's likely or not. And just so happens that you have a bearish order block on the daily. So then you have to figure out, hey, is it possible that price will go to 42,000 today? And based on this order block, I would say that's the target that the price is reaching for. And with that in mind, maybe I might change my target from the previous week's high to simply taking my profit, everything at 42,000 about 100, because that's where the order block, the bearish order block sort of begins. But we will see. It just so happens also that the body of the candle, the body is at 42,300. So for now, maybe I'll stick to that target. Do I expect it to get hit today? I'm not sure. But assuming that, because London has showed us that it is bullish, so London has showed us that it is bullish, then I would expect New York to do the same. And if New York does the same, then why not, right? So it's just a small little analysis on the trades that I took from yesterday, how I was able to predict the top would come here. And for today as well, I'm predicting that the top for the London close is going to come here it's going to come during the London close as well. So yeah, trust me, I really wanted to short this because today's Wednesday and mid-week reversal tends to happen today, but I'm glad that I went long instead. Hopefully this video has been of some help to you. If you like it, let me know. But otherwise, bye-bye.